Distribution has been one of the core pillars of how vendors reach to the wider ecosystem of partners and ultimately customers. I have seen two waves of death knells being sounded for how distributors are going in decline. And every time, once the wave starts, you realize how core distribution is to the whole IT ecosystem. And that's why our guest today is so critical for us to understand what distribution and distributors are doing to adapt and to change for the AI era. Sayantan Dev is president of Redington Gulf, and he's an insider, but he's also a thought leader in this space. As I speak to him about what are the changes happening in distribution in general, as he takes his new role as the global president and head of SSG group within Redington, I hope you like this conversation with him, where he talks about what's happening in this space and what are distributors doing globally to keep up to speed. Enjoy this session. Sayantan, good morning.
Good morning, Anuj.
How
Great
are
to
you
see you.
today?
All good.
Awesome.
Pleasure to be chatting with you. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, likewise. I don't know if I've told you before, but I started working in channels, and my first job was to manage the relationship with Redington. I'm talking about a couple of almost 2 decades back now. So literally, my initiation and my learning into what channel is and how channels work was everything I learned from that relationship with Redington. And that's why I'm so excited and I'm so glad and I'm honored to be hosting you today at Channel Times because I think I'm hosting the first senior leader from Redington for the first time, and really welcome for to the show. And we will talk about a lot of stuff. But first of all, congratulations on the new role. And why don't we start with that? What's the new role about, and what are you doing with the new role?
Thanks, Anuj. A very interesting piece of information. We have discussed that before. I'm glad that we have a very long association with your journey, and hopefully it has been fruitful. I'm very glad to know that.
Absolutely.
And uh, yeah, I mean, you have seen it all, the evolution of the distribution industry over the years. Um, and just to tell you a little background of my transition to the new role.
Sure.
So I have been with Redington for almost 17 years now, mostly in the Middle East region. I've managed different businesses within Redington and across different geographies of MEA, mostly on what you call the VAT side. Before I transitioned and took up a new assignment in managing the overall region in Middle East and Africa, minus of Saudi, which was about 2.5 years back. But outside of that, my experience have been in the what we call the value-added distribution side. Uh, I mean, pretty much saw the growth of the enterprise class adoption of of IT across the region at a very large scale through different eras. Um, so we went back to the drawing board uh, about 7 8 months back and realized that the kind of skills and support that is required to grow the software part of the business. When I say software, which is we are saying everything software, whether consumed as a on cloud or on premise as a subscription. Very few licenses today. Mostly softwares are consumed as subscription or in a consumption model. All infrastructure that is consumed over cloud. So this entire piece of IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. So all of that. Then you have a very important part in security, which is very well entrenched and a very important factor of any enterprise class deployment. Um, so we clubbed all these businesses together, all software, all cloud, and everything in security under this one category, to bring in that additional focus into driving that business and building capabilities, competencies across the regions that Redington operates in, as part of this one single global business unit. And I'm absolutely excited to take up this new role. Every data points towards the exponential growth forecasted for these categories over the next few years. We have a great track record in building some of these businesses over a period of time. We thought it is even more important now to put all our investment focus into building capabilities, both in terms of people as well as technology stack, platforms, etc., uh, to make sure that we are playing a meaningful role in growth of these, high growth categories in the emerging markets that we operate in.
Amazing. So in a sense, then it's a global role, and um, I kind of want to start the whole discussion with that thread, because as you said, you have seen the evolution of distribution from up close and personal, obviously. And for me, from the initial days when I used to interact, I think it was distribution obviously has evolved over the last couple of decades. And where you see distribution today from where it was, it was fairly, I would say, hardware centric, even though there was software, but everything kind of revolved around hardware. I would love to kind of start there, because the evolution literally starts from how the distribution was looked at that point of time. And then at least, if you could you could talk about the initial days of how distribution was, and the evolution of that till probably where you start the role. So, and then we can go from there.
No, absolutely. So the modern broadline distribution era dates back to the 1970s, and it pretty much started with the personal computing becoming more and more accessible and becoming more mainstream. And so that was up until the mid 90s. It was very much hardware centric. But distribution's role, core function and role, obviously has remained unchanged. So if you look at the distribution business, its primary role is in building capacity for innovators in going to market, helping democratize their usage, all the innovations that the innovators are making. While they might innovate in product and research, a middle tier industry like distributor has always innovated in go to market and in creating capacity for them. So they take risk in innovation, we take risk in building capacity, right? And the value that the ecosystem saw and the role that distributors played in the hardware era was very different from what it has evolved to now. So if you look at the first era, and if I divide this into three eras of distribution, like I said, the first one is very heavily hardware centric. So dating back to the 70s up till the mid 90s, which is mostly around personal computing and its democratization. The role that distributor played there is pretty much supply chain management, warehousing, and a very important role in their deploying their capital strategy to help our reseller community grow faster. Come to the mid 90s, you see the more adoption of the enterprise grade, and software, your server side technologies, more enterprise class solutions being adopted at a massive scale. The server side technologies in servers, storage, campus networking, data center networking, and then the perimeter security became very important. and then security as a, more and more reliability on of enterprise on their IT system grew. Security became very important, but they were mostly around the perimeter security. So then you see the emergence of what we call the VAD, or the value added distributor, who coexisted with the broadline distributors. And then, along with the classic distribution model of warehousing, shipping, uh, uh, there was a broader meaning to the entire supply chain, project management, helping system integrators in terms of managing projects, etc., back to back order mapping, sales cycle management, doing POCs, a new community of pre-sales and technical people coming, joining the distribution bandwagon, enabling partners, helping them graduating through the competency levels with different enterprise class products and all that. So that, and then distributors role as a orchestrator and the aggregator of solutions, making sure there is seamless integration at the customer place, because there were many fragmented parts which came together to build solution for customers. Now the from and that until that was pretty much the growth of the VAD era, up until let's say the mid or late 2010s, depending upon what part of the world you are in, where we start seeing the digital era or the massive adoption of the cloud computing. And here there is again a huge transformation of from that to becoming more of a digital platform, helping, a very different set of skill sets acquired by distributors to help entirely new set of vendors, the hyperscalers, then the ISVs, the SaaS providers, the cloud computing, and how they're a big sweet spot of the hyperscalers and the cloud computing is the SMBs, because one major role that it played is in democratization of enterprise class computing softwares and all of that. And hence it required a very different skills, capacity, competency building for distributors, and we are still going through that. And and nicely entering into what we now call the AI era, where applications are going to get developed even faster than ever before. Customers would demand time to value faster than ever before. Innovators would want their time to market to improve much better than before, because otherwise the choices are so many that you fall by the wayside. Hence, distributors are reinventing themselves. And I think the current era is extremely exciting for the ecosystem, and also the distributors playing a very important part in building the supply chain efficiency of software cloud consumption, as well as creating innovation in capacity compatibility. So today they are playing an even more important part in the entire digital transformation process, along with other value added services at different levels, from migration, modernization of applications, to manage security services, and what have you.
Amazing. What a set of historical eras you have jumped there, and very fascinating. Thanks for that. Uh, you know, as you were talking about that, I was also thinking. Uh, I when I joined AWS, early 2012, late 2011. There was a lot of talk, and by the way, there is a lot of talk today also, but that time cloud was the new baby and kid on the block, and everybody was talking about, hey, this is the start of the decline of the distribution as we know. Possibly true, but people spoke about the naysayers spoke about how distribution is no longer going to be valid. And if you look at 10 years, 15 years down the line, distribution has become the literally the mainstay of how cloud is to pick up the word which you have been using about democratizing the cloud itself. So, and now, a couple of weeks back I was talking to somebody, and they again started talking about the death knell of how distribution is no longer going to be valid in the AI era. because of what's AI doing. But the last piece which you spoke about, Dave, is so so important, and I wanted to pick up your brain there. So you rightly said that if you look at the biggest choke point which will make or break AI is not going to be the speed at which the products can be built. The development life cycle of the products is going to drastically go down. You can build a product in 1 month, but the choke point will be how do you distribute. And if 70% of the global enterprise software goes through distribution, when I say distribution, as in all types of distribution, and if you don't fix that, then you can build the products in a day, but it can take months and weeks and months to distribute. So would really want to understand, right from, and I'm sure you have been listening and talking about the decline of distribution. What are your thoughts around the cloud era and then where AI kind of takes distribution?
Well, the questions around relevance of distribution has come many a times during this entire journey of the industry. To start with, I think the biggest questions were raised when this shift from hardware-centric solutions to software-defined world was emerging. Because distribution by that time had established itself as a very strong player in creating the supply chain assistance, capital capacity in the market, warehousing as its primary function, or even the back-to-back project management and so on and so forth. But what we realized in the software world is when the software-defined world emerged, while it brought in a significant improvement in agility, time to value for customers, time to market for the innovators, it brought in along with it a large number of complexities. And the number of SaaS vendors, software vendors are ever increasing. And they are being consumed in many different ways. So there is one, the complexities around the subscription management, the supply chain issues of third-party softwares, and all of that. You have to offer now in the cloud era the metering solutions for softwares and consumptions. You know what we provide to our resellers, a single pane of glass for managing the multiple customers, using solutions for multiple providers with different subscription dates, with invoicing at a monthly basis of their consumption, then helping them with optimizing the usage of their cloud and software and what have you. The distribution's role became far more relevant in the software and cloud era. Now coming to the, again, because we are again making a transition, while distribution made a very significant contribution and established its role during the cloud era, but with every transition we question, and very rightly so, that what is going to be the role of not just distribution but the different players in the ecosystem. I mean, there are famous videos of what will happen to SaaS and SaaS providers and all that, with Satya later clarifying in other interviews that it was not what he meant, but it was about how the entire industry is going to reinvent itself very clearly. And I can tell you, being an insider and talking to my peers across globally, that there is a massive transformation happening in the distribution world. In the process, and like always, not everybody can innovates and transforms at the same pace. So there will be tectonic shift in the landscape, is what I believe. But interestingly, there are there are new entrants into the play, because when it has become a more of a platform play and a marketplace play, and we are seeing new players coming in. And there are some of the distributors like Redington. We are undergoing massive transformation in how we approach the market, how we go to the market. We are talking about our commerce platform for cloud, which has already been in existence, a very strong presence in the markets that we operate, a very scalable architecture. We are coming out with the version 2 of our cloud commerce platform called CloudQuarks 2.0. And it is a highly scalable, highly agile, along with provisions for a very strong marketplace where suppliers of SaaS and users and our resellers can self-launch, self-run their business pretty much in a, on a almost automated 100% self-serviced way. But of course, with different touch points. Coming back to your point, in the AI era, I am extremely excited about where this is going. When we talk about AI, it is not just about the AI use cases. When we talk about AI, there is an entire journey of a customer across the AI maturity curve. And it requires readiness across not just the use cases and the applications or the AI enables, tons of softwares that you see. But if you really want to mature in that journey, every customer would need to have a readiness at least across these 4 pillars of: one, the infrastructure and the devices, be it cloud infrastructure also for your production, or if you at a very advanced stage train the fundamental the models or run the models, or on-premise infrastructure. A lot of AI use cases will come to the edges, both at the network edge and also at a client level. You can take a leaf out of how from mainframe it went into a cloud client side usage. I sometimes feel that cloud is like the mainframe today, and because there is no commercial viability of running AI use cases on the edge, you are more or less, cloud is the first port of call and is going to remain and going to expand. But a lot of things will happen over time at the edge as well. So your strategy around infrastructure and devices play is the first important point. The second is around data readiness. There is no good AI without good data. A lot of customers don't realize that. So there is a lot of work happening around the entire data journey, from the time it is enters the system, how it is captured, to how it is stored, to the entire data engineering piece, up to how it is normalized, and then how you give the data is classified and tagged, and then provided as an input to the as tokens to the models, let's say, so that you can get a clean and useful output. So data part is a huge area of work. So that is number 2. The third part is about people. And when we talk about people, it's one is about culture, and the second is about capabilities and competencies. And that the capabilities in the cloud side is also about creativity, mostly, and awareness. What tools are available, what they can do, and how you can effectively use it for your own functions. And the fourth part, a very important part, is around security in the AI age. I just mentioned to you about how security used to be mostly around data center security. But with cloud and usage across, the threat surface has gone far beyond the perimeter. That the perimeter security alone has no meaning today. So you have data residing in the cloud. It is, you have exposure through various devices to the external world. So that there are new threat vectors emerging all the time. And imagine in the AI age, although you have great technologies like the RAG and the maps, but that increases your threat surface like never before. And secondly, your data protection and data laws becomes that much more important, because how and where your data is getting used in these models and in these technologies, you never know. So security is going to be an even more important than ever before. And if you look at it, and then of course you have those AI models, and there are great services both on the hyperscalers and other marketplaces, which are providing marketplace for even models, and tons of stuff that you can do, and many other AI backed products and services. So they are all there, and the number of SaaS that are being deployed today with the help of AI. But in the AI age, you need, all these areas are going to explode. So, and if you have seen that, Redington has built its capability over a period of time over all these areas in many different ways. So I see a major explosion coming. One is the leading technology in what I call the most interesting time, the era of the most impactful general purpose technology of our time after electricity. Um, but the growth is going to come from, one, directly from the AI use cases, but also from all the other uh, uh, elements of IT that I spoke about. And so the ecosystem play is going to be far more important, hence the importance of aggregation, orchestration of solutions. Uh, Onboarding newer solutions quicker, faster, taking them to the market becomes more important than ever before. Again, a very important play that Redington and other distributors are going to have. uh, Understanding newer models and innovating faster enough. The preference of customers to consume through platform and marketplace is another important part, and mostly distribution is moving towards creating digital marketplace, digital commerce platforms, and all that. So this transformation and reinvention of distribution is going to happen, but because of all the reasons that I said, distribution is going to play an even more important part than ever before.
Awesome. And as you paint the overall picture of how distribution in general is going to play that critical role of distributing these great products which are getting built at shorter time. Also, let's talk about uh, a little bit on the geolocation side. You are based in one of the fastest and the most exciting growth markets. Uh, Tell us something about how do you feel about. Obviously, you're based in Dubai, but now you had a global role. What do you see in that market, and also what advice would you typically give? A lot of global players, global software companies are coming to Middle East. How is distribution in general, Redington in particular, also helping uh, some of these companies, and what do you see as some of those levers which software companies can pull to be successful in that market?
Very interesting question, and uh, I think for this market, and generally, and most of the markets that Redington operates in, uh, the and the domain that we are in, which is technology, and with whatever is happening around AI and the future of that, we are possibly living through the most interesting times. Uh, UAE and KSA and some of the larger uh, Middle East markets countries have been in the news for their dedicated investment focus on building AI capabilities in the region. There are tons of initiatives, both in terms of giving regulatory relief to startups in the technology area, also creating a good support system for helping them with capital strategy. The entire ecosystem that is getting built in the region, along with the other markets that we operate in, like India and South Asia and all that, uh, is making it far more interesting to build businesses and delivery centers and product development centers in our part of the world as we speak. um, that's one. Along with it, what is happening is there is a growth of a nice ecosystem, both from the infrastructure side, capital support side, and also all the hyperscalers and their programs. As distributors, we have our very interesting programs, and you will see more of them coming from Redington in the next few quarters. Uh, all targeted towards helping the new ISV startups to grow faster in the region and make the most of the opportunity available from government ecosystem, our innovators, hyperscalers, and all that. My advice to uh, all the new startups is uh, it all starts with the customers, and the region is full of customers who are very open to newer innovative models. A good part is customers are now very smart and wise, and they want uh, all that we talk about with customers today about the outcome. So we say that the age of the fashion IT is gone. Customers care about what outcome suppliers and innovators can give them. But uh, there is a absolutely a vibrant environment in terms of adoption of newer technologies. Customers are absolutely on a mission to transform overnight, make the most of the new tools, technologies, innovations available. So my advice to all the startups would be to focus on solving that most impactful customer problem in the easiest, nicest way. Focus on that, and we are there to help them introduce to all the programs available from the ecosystem players, the governments, and our own programs to make sure that um, they get that runway to growth nicely and very fast enough.
Awesome. So I'm going to put you on the mat now on that one, Dev. Uh, so would SSG be uh, able to play that role of that platform which startups and some of the innovators, as you spoke about, can leverage to grow into specific geographies? And if yes, then you spoke about some of the programs which are coming up. So do you have a structured program which some of the innovators and startups can leverage to partner with SSG now and Redington in general?
So we have multiple programs starting from co-selling and demand generation for them. We have a quite a few marketing assets called pitch rooms and verticals where we take these innovators and the startups to different markets, give them a forum to pitch their solutions to a larger audience of customers. Some of them has been really effective. So that is one kind of a motion, co-marketing engine. We have an ISV team dedicated for helping newer ISV startups, digital natives, help them sell more conveniently. We are going to give them a very strong, robust marketplace to take their products to different markets. And our partners like the hyperscalers and other innovators have co-sale programs with ISVs and digital natives. We have a team of professionals who are specialized on building on those initiatives. So there are tons of resources available, and we are going to build on that. And that's absolutely a mission. I mean, we want to play a very, very meaningful role in making sure that we are unlocking the potential of the market for all these new startups and digital natives.
Amazing. Really enjoyed this conversation. I think coming from you, the historical perspective of where distribution was and how distribution is changing or is going to become integral part of the AI economy, I think is so fascinating. And I really love this conversation, Dev. I really look forward to, and I'll keep bothering you every once in a while to pick your brains on how this is evolving and how Redington in general and you in particular are playing a critical role in that. Thanks for joining today, and it was lovely hosting you on the Channel Times show, Dave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anuj. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.